guys.
Hello, Pittsburgh. Hello, San Francisco. Hello, Cincinnati.
That's not right.
Oh, it's not?
No.
Where are we?
We're in Burns, Oregon. Beautiful Burns. I'm Dallin Davies.
I'm Kiara Davies.
And we're Jumper Cable Records.
We're Jumper Cable? Oh.
We'll get in sync eventually.
We're Jumper Cable Records. We wanted to introduce ourselves and let you know who we are, what we're doing, and kind of what to expect in the future. So some people, when we tell them about Jumper Cable Records, they go, well, cool, so you have a record label. And, that's not necessarily who we are. I know records is in the name, but just much like family records, that's kind of the idea that we're rolling with. We do a lot of genealogy personally and as a family, and I think of family records. We have journals, we have tape, we have photographs, and that's what we want to do for music and musicians.
A record label isn't what most people need, and we're trying to be what people need, and that is a stepstone to bigger, better things from where they stand currently.
Yeah, and Dallin and I just want to be around for it. We want to document it. We want to make those journal entries. We want to make those vlogs, those videos and tapes, and just recordings that each musician will later down the line look back at and be really proud of and proud to share.
Our goal is to tie the two together, starting at a very local level. We go to the community of that artist and we sit down with them, interview them,
learn their stories.
Yeah, help tell their story. We allow them to tell their story, but we help them do that, and then we present it to the world, to that global community, so that their music can be appreciated by far more than their mom and dad.
Yeah, and you know what? We didn't mention this, but Dallin grew up in a very rural area, a very small community in Oregon, and I grew up in Los Angeles. And being from a big city, I can tell you that talent isn't just in those big cities. It's not just in Nashville. It's not just in New York or LA. But we truly believe that you can find talent everywhere. You just have to listen. So we want to listen. We want to listen to you. We want to listen to your friends. We want to find you, and we want to amplify your voice.
Yeah, and we want to give you content, a video, an audio,
an interview that
you can share to help them grow. And I'm for lack of a better word, I'm stoked for it. I wanted to share a couple of audios just so you know that these ideas aren't Dallin and Kiara's crazy perspective on the way things are going in the world.
It's percolating.
Yeah.
This movement of how the music industry is changing.
That's right. And many of you may have heard these audios, but I'd like to share them just so our bigger audience can hear them and we can discuss what that means. So the first one is from a gentleman who he's a voice teacher. I may have said that wrong.
Yeah.
He teaches vocals and is very well renowned in that community. And this is what he has to say on what an artist needs.
People stream, right? Or they watch YouTube, they listen to music on here. That's pretty much how people get their music, okay? So this whole idea of how do I promote my music? I'm going to get a record deal. I was like, record labels there's no point in a record label when you can promote yourself.
That's right.
Yeah.
I mean, and I wanted to just double down on that with another audio from somebody who works in a record label setting. This is what she had to say about it.
You want to know how major labels are functioning now in the music industry? I interviewed a former A&R at Capitol Records, and this is what she had to say about major labels.
The business models of major labels these days are kind of more like, venture capitalists. Right. And that's just what they do. They're not in the business of developing artists, and they want to throw a bunch of money on stuff that has already proven that it's working. I worked in the music business to do what I love, which is developing artists and working on music. And if I would have been a banker, I would have, done the Goldman track right out of school or whatever. But
what do you think the success rate is for major label artists these days, at least when you were at Capitol, in terms of how many artists you would sign versus how many would recoup the cost of their advance to then, greenlit it?
Oh, very, 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 very few. When you sign a record deal, you should assume that could be the last check you see.
Whoa.
Yeah, so that's a little shocking. When I first heard, both of these audios, obviously they have some similarities in what they're saying, but there's some differences too. It drove me to this area of like, record labels are bad. And I don't think that's necessarily the case. They have their place, and the majority of what you hear on the radio as a music listener is what the record label wants you to hear. It's what they know will sell, and so they push it to those different channels to make sure that it gets to your ear. But that is not the only avenue to find music.
Right. There are so many other ways to do it. Again, record labels aren't inherently bad. It's just there are just so many ways,
I honestly just think they're outdated.
Well, that's a good way to put it. And I love what she said, that second audio, when she was saying that she got into the music business to develop the artists, not to throw money at them and then control what they were putting out, telling them, this is not the good image for you. This is not the right song for you. This isn't the right sound for you. And so I believe that that's how we're approaching it. We believe in artists and what they have to say, what they have to create, and what they want to share with the world. That's completely up to them.
What we're trying to, I guess, point out and bring to fruition for individuals is the fact that there's not one way to find success. You do not have to get that record deal, that label, sign your life away, sign your creative freedom away in order to be discovered and to do what you love.
Yeah, there are people like us and our listeners who are waiting to support and listen to what you're creating. These musicians in every corner of the world, really, they deserve to be heard. Their creations, their songs deserve to be heard. Find us on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and most podcast streaming platforms at Jumper Cable Records.